friend Don Costa introduced him. He became his producer. So we're down in Miami. He's doing a movie. He calls me. He says, "Kid, come on. Have dinner." I go and have dinner with him. This is like 67. For 60 years Paul Anka kept Frank Sinatra's darkest secrets locked away. But now at 84 he's finally talking. In 1968, Sinatra looked him in the eye and said something that changed everything. It wasn't just about my way. It was about the mob connections, the covered up scandals, and the bodies that disappeared when people crossed the chairman of the board. Anka watched it all happen. He stayed silent through threats, bribes, and worse. But age has a way of loosening tongues, and the stories he's telling now will destroy Sinatra's legacy forever. Paul Anka was born on 30th of July, 1941 in Ottawa Civic Hospital. He was the son of immigrants. His father, Andrew Anka, came from Damascus in 1924 with just $15 and one suitcase. In Ottawa, he opened a small restaurant called La Canda on Laurier Avenue West. They served spaghetti for 45. Journalists from the Ottawa Citizen loved it. That restaurant was also Paul's world. By the time he was 7, he could name every federal cabinet minister. He picked up details from political gossip at table 4. On Saturdays, he greeted over 300 customers. He watched his father hustle, work, smile, shake hands. He memorized it all. The family lived in a 2-bedroom house on Clearview Avenue. There were 5 of them. Winters dropped to -25 C. Paul practiced singing while wearing mittens. Money was tight, but 2 things shaped him: his father's drive, his mother's Arabic lullabies. Her name was Camellia. She came from Lebanon. The melodies stayed with him. In the autumn of 1953, Paul was 12. He walked into Pfizer Park High School with a $14 guitar someone had lent him. He told everyone he had a new group. He called it the Bobby Sockers. He pulled in 2 classmates, Raymond Carrier and Gerald Barrow. They rehearsed in his basement near crates of tomatoes. Sometimes they sang past 2 in the morning. Paul taught himself piano from a worn-out John Thompson book. He even wrote lyrics during math class. By 13, he had already written 27 songs. His music teacher, Frederick Caram, remembered everyone. Once Paul wanted to perform at the Fairmont Club in Quebec, but he was too young, so he took his mother's Buick without a license. He crossed the river. He convinced the doorman to let him sing for free. He performed I Confess, a song he had written himself. He won first prize, $25 and a week of bookings. The police gave him a warning, but everyone else saw a kid who wouldn't give up. Every Sunday, Paul sang at St. Elias Cathedral. He learned old hymns in strange time signatures like 7/8. He mixed those with boogie tunes he heard late at night on CKUA radio. The result was something new. At a YMCA contest, one judge called it weirdly hypnotic. By 1955, Paul had become the star of every local show. In just 6 months, he performed 42 times. One show was during halftime at a Rough Riders football game. 19,000 people clapped along to a song he had written. It had a strange name, Blauwild die Vas Fontaine. He had pulled it from a book he was reading for English class. The Ottawa Journal called him the pint-sized Sinatra. At 14, he was making over $60 Canadian dollars a week. That was 3 times more than what other kids got as allowance. Then came the soup cans. Early in 1955, Paul saw a contest from Campbell. Send in 1,500 labels and win $100 plus a free ticket anywhere in North America. For 3 months he dug through IGA dumpsters. He filled 12 sacks with tomato soup labels. His sister Miriam helped glue them onto entry forms. On 5th of May 1955 he won. He chose Los Angeles. He had $200. He stayed with his uncle Morris in Hawthorne and hitchhiked 18 kilometers to Modern Records. He tried to audition without an appointment. They said no, but he left with a demo and saw the Capitol Records tower for the first time. He told himself he'd be inside it one day. That Christmas, Paul gave his parents a shock. He didn't want to go back to school. He wanted New York. His father. Andy said fine. He gave him 6 months to get a record deal. If he failed, he had to come back and work full-time at Londa. On 1st of January 1956, Paul boarded a CPR train with $500 and 2 suitcases. It was a 16-hour ride to Grand Central. On day 53 of his 6-month deadline, he auditioned for Don Costa at ABC Paramount. He sang Diana. Costa picked up the phone and called Andy back in Ottawa. Your boy just wrote a million-seller, he said. Paul never worked in the restaurant again. By 1957, he had 1 song in 5 minutes. That was all. He stood in front of Don Costa with a demo of Diana. Costa listened to the first verse. Then, he stopped him and called everyone into the room. By the end of that hour, Paul had a contract. They offered him 2 cents per record, twice what new singers usually got. The story spread across the label. From that day on, any surprise hit was called a 5-minute miracle. Diana was recorded on May 19, 1957 at Arce's Studio B. Came out in July. No ads, no posters. 3 weeks later it was playing on 83 stations. By September it hit number 1 in 6 countries. Sold 9 million copies in 18 months. In Britain alone it stayed at number 1. For 9 weeks. It sold 1.25 million records there, beating everything except Rock Around the Clock. In Canada, 2 vinyl plants in Edmonton ran 24 hours a day just to meet demand. Before the song hit, Paul booked a show in Ottawa. The date was October 28, 1956. It was at the Capitol Theatre, but the crowd turned on him.